Hey, welcome to Mad English TV. Look at these two sentences. John is taller than me. John is taller than I. Which one do you think is right? Well, technically, this one is right and this one is wrong. But native English speakers never say this. We always say this because it sounds more natural. Now, if we put the word am on the end of this sentence, John is taller than I am, then it sounds natural. Okay, so it's correct and natural. So both of them sound natural. But I think this one is actually much more common than this one. Okay, so I gave you this example to show you that native English speakers make grammar mistakes all the time. Okay, and I want to give you a few examples in this lesson. Okay, so one mistake that a lot of native English speakers make is they get these two words mixed up. Okay, they're two different words. Okay, look at this. My ears are bigger than yours. That's wrong. It should be my ears are bigger than yours. We need to use the word than when we're comparing two things. Okay, so here we're comparing my ears and your ears. So we need the word than. Now, the reason people make this mistake is because these two words sound exactly the same. Well, there might be a little bit of a difference. When I say it, I say then and than. Okay, so you can probably hear a little bit of a difference, but I think most people just say it the same. Okay, so when they go to type something, they just put then. So that's a big mistake. The word then is a word that we use in different situations. Like, look at this. Read the questions, then answer them. Okay, first read the questions, then answer them. That's good. Okay, we're not comparing anything, whereas here we're comparing things. So remember, when you're comparing two things, it's an A, not an E. Okay, now another mistake that native English speakers make a lot. I don't make this mistake, but a lot of them do. It's that they don't use past participles. Okay, what's a past participle? Remember, it's the strange verb, like gone, been, seen. Okay, those are past participles. Sometimes people don't use them. They'll say things like this: I haven't went there yet. Okay, that's a mistake because we have the word have, so we need the past participle. Remember, this is our perfect verb tense. Okay, this is the present perfect verb tense. So we need this weird looking verb, which is gone. I haven't gone there yet. Okay, now some people use past participles when they shouldn't use them. Okay, look at this. I seen that movie last week. Last week is obviously in the past, so we just need to use the simple past. Okay, I saw that movie last week. Now, some past participles look really strange. Okay, look at this. Drunk, swum, drink, drank, drunk, swim, swam, swum. Okay, now a lot of native English speakers don't use these words. Okay, but they should use these words if it's a perfect verb tense. Okay, I'll give you some examples. So, I drink water every day. I drank 5 cups of water yesterday. I have drunk 2 cups of water so far today. Okay, so there's an example of how we would use drunk, and the same could go for this. I swim in the lake every day. I swam in the lake yesterday. I have swum in the lake every day this week. Okay, so these are correct, but a lot of native English speakers just use these. They would say, I have drank water today, or I have swam in the lake today. Okay, that's wrong. we should use these, but they just sort of sound so weird. I think that a lot of native English speakers just sort of forget about them. Swum, drunk. Actually, I mean, drunk has a different meaning, right? Drunk means to, like when you drink a lot of alcohol, you get drunk, right? You start acting crazy. But anyway, I don't know. These are correct, so you should learn these. Okay, so let's look at another example. Okay, another mistake is that people use the word real instead of really. Okay, that's a real nice dress. Okay, that's wrong. It should be, that's a really nice dress. Okay, here's another one. Good and well. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Okay, that's such a natural response. I'm doing good. But technically, that's wrong. It should be, I'm doing well. Okay, now here's another example. Can and may. Now, technically, when you make a request, you're supposed to use the word may, like this. May I have a candy? Okay, but native English speakers never say that. We always say, can I have a candy? Okay, a candy is a sweet. In British English, they say sweet, and in North America, we say candy. Okay, can I have a candy? A lot of people would say that's wrong. You should say, may I have a candy? I don't know. Okay, oh, this is a really common one. Funner and funnest. Okay, this is the funnest game I've ever played. Soccer is funner than basketball. Okay, I think you know what it should be. It should be, this is the most fun game I've ever played. Soccer is more fun than basketball, but these are so common, I don't know. Oh, now this is a very interesting one. Okay, look at this. I could have gotten rich if I had invested in Apple 20 years ago. Okay, now this is a mistake because it should be I could have gotten rich. Okay, could have becomes contracted to could have. Okay, now the problem with that is that it sounds like could of. Okay, so for a lot of native English speakers who might not be very good at spelling, they just think, oh, could of, and they write could of. Okay, but it's not. It's actually could have. So remember that. Could of is wrong. You should use the contraction could have, could have. Okay. Oh, this one just drives me crazy. Okay, there, and there. Your and your. I know people with master's degrees who don't know the difference between these words. Can you believe it? Why? I mean, people learn this in elementary school. Okay, elementary school, junior high, high school, bachelor's degree, master's degree. We're talking about 18 years of education, and they haven't learned this yet. I don't know, it's crazy. Let's take a look at this one. Now this one is pretty tricky. Even I make mistakes with this one sometimes. Lie and lay. Now these are two separate verbs. Lie means to lie down, and lay means to put something down. Okay, so this is the present, the past, and the past participle. Okay, lie, lay, not this lay, it's different. This is the past of lie. Okay, that's why it's a bit confusing. And here we have our past participle, lain. Okay, so I'll give you some examples. They lie on the beach every day. They lay on the beach yesterday. They have lain on the beach for 3 hours. Okay, now lay, which means to put something down. For example, I could tell you, lay down your pride. Okay, if you're really arrogant, I could say, lay down your pride. Okay, it means put down your pride. Okay, so he laid down his pride last year. Okay, so that would be the past. Or I could say, he has laid down his pride. Okay, so that's really tricky. Lie, lay, lane, lay, laid, laid. This lay is different than that lay. I don't know who comes up with this stuff. It's really confusing. Okay, another mistake that native English speakers make quite often is subject-verb agreement. So when we have a sentence, we have a subject and we have a verb, right? Now the subject has to agree. It has to be the right form to fit. Okay, they have to match. Look at this. Samsung make good phones, or Samsung makes good phones. Which one do you think is right? Well, Samsung is a company, right? It's one company. So it should be Samsung makes good phones. But a lot of people would say that Samsung is a company with lots of people working for them, right? So they might think Samsung make good phones. If that's plural, then we need make. But if that's singular, then we need makes. Now, when I was a kid, I learned that nouns like family, team, crew, okay, where it's one thing, but there's a lot of different people inside it, that's called a collective noun. So if you want to learn more about collective nouns, just Google collective nouns, okay, and you'll find lots of examples. But here, I mean, the correct thing is to say Samsung makes good phones. But a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say this, Samsung make good phones. I don't know. What do you think? Which one sounds better to you? Okay, here's another one. Each of the dogs has rabies, or each of the dogs have rabies. Okay, rabies is a disease where dogs start foaming at the mouth and they go crazy, okay? It's a very bad disease. It's deadly. If humans get it, you might die, okay? So hopefully you don't get bitten by a rabid dog. So this is confusing because the word dogs is plural, right? So we think, oh, okay, dogs have. But dogs isn't the subject of the sentence. Each is the subject of the sentence, and each takes a singular verb, okay? So each has rabies. Each of the dogs has rabies. Okay, those words like each, every, either, none, those are called indefinite pronouns. Okay, so if you want to get some practice with that kind of thing, then just Google indefinite pronoun practice. Okay, so let's go on to the next mistake. Now, this is a mistake that I make all the time. Okay, it's called the subjunctive mood. You don't need to worry about this. It's not important. Native English speakers have no idea what subjunctive mood means, so you don't have to worry about it. But this is what it means. If the weather was nicer, we could go swimming. If the weather were nicer, we could go swimming. Which one do you think is right? You might think, well, weather is a singular noun, so we should have a singular verb, was. But actually, this one is correct because we're talking about a hypothetical situation, okay? We're not talking about the weather now, we're sort of dreaming. We're saying, if the weather were nicer, we could go swimming. And when we're talking about that kind of hypothetical situation, that's called the subjunctive mood, and technically we should use this form of the verb, if the weather were. But like I said, I say this all the time, and I hear other native English speakers say this all the time. In fact, I would say this is more common than this one. I'm not sure, but I think so. Okay, grammar is obviously really important. It's good to learn grammar, but don't be a grammar Nazi. Do you know what a grammar Nazi is? A grammar Nazi is someone who's really strict about grammar. Oh, you need to say it like this. Oh, you can't say, can I have a candy? May I have a candy? Okay? You can't say, I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Okay? That's a grammar Nazi. Nobody likes Nazis, right? You know who the Nazis were. The Nazis were really bad people in Germany during the Second World War. Okay, so don't be a Nazi. The next thing I want to say is don't let grammar stop you from communication. You know, so many people are really worried about making grammar mistakes when they speak. You know what? Don't worry about it. When you're at home, study grammar. That's great, okay? You learn a lot of stuff, try to remember it, but then close the book. When you go outside, meet some friends, just try to talk. Don't even think about the grammar. Don't worry about the grammar. Anyway, I want to know if you notice when native English speakers make grammar mistakes. Have you ever noticed that before? I'm interested to know if you can hear when native English speakers make grammar mistakes. So let me know if you have heard. If you could give me an example right down there. And as always, I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.